You live?
I think so. It don't show me I'm live.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Oh, I'm up?
Yeah.
Hey, this is the Knicks State of Mind podcast. I'm your host, Quis, joined by my co-host, Inf. And today, we're going to be discussing the Knicks getting the breaks beat off them by the Denver Nuggets. Now, Inf, how you doing before we get started? Even facts, right? I'm just shocked that we lost by so much because if you remember when we shot our pregame analysis, I really expected us to lose by like 5 to 8 points. I didn't think we would have the offensive firepower to really compete with them.
I mean, you know, I thought that this was actually going to be a winnable game for us, being that Denver hasn't had they haven't had their stuff together. But this was just disappointing. It's like, damn, are we reverting back to same old Knicks?
Well, remember what I said. The Knicks are usually a get-right game, and we saw that with the Toronto Raptors, and we saw it again here with the Denver Nuggets. They started off the season kind of slow, not as good as we expected. What was their record coming into the game? What was it, like 4-5?
Yep.
Yeah, so they came into the game 4-5, looking to try to get to 500. And whenever teams compete against the Knicks, they're going to be giving it their all. And I had a subscriber, May 4th, he was saying that the Knicks are going to win because from 1 to 15, we have the same level of talent. And I'm like, bro, there's no way we have the same level of talent as the Denver Nuggets. And it showed. Like, to me, the game really started getting out of hand the minute we brought our second unit in. Once the second unit came in, like we were already down a few points. But once Rivers, Noel, Quickley and them, Knox came in, you saw that gap just increase. We were able to cut it down a little bit at the end of the second quarter, and we were able to be within 14 at the end of the third. But outside of that, it was just us getting the breaks beat off us.
No, for a Knicks fan, that game was hard to watch. It was hard to stay motivated and stay in tune because, like you mentioned, like normally when our starters aren't doing good, we look forward to the bench to come out swinging and, really like up the tempo. Once we saw how depleted our bench was to start the game, we had nothing to look forward to. There was no hope. There was no, shining star like, oh, well, when this person touches the floor, things are going to pick up. No, like it was just all bad from start to finish. It was rough.
Yeah, I think to be honest, looking at the game, the only person to me that really had a good game was Julius Randle. And it's ironic that I got to say Julius Randle's the only one that really had a good game because if you are a subscriber to the channel, originally I didn't want the Knicks to continue to build around Julius Randle. I kind of wanted them to move on from him and bring in some other pieces to give us a little bit more depth and to give us a roster that works a little bit better with some of our core pieces. But Julius Randle, just looking at his stats, he had 29 points, went 11 for 16 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He had 10 rebounds, 5 assists. And it's ironic because remember that when we had the pregame talk, Inf, and you were like, Julius Randle hopes to be Nikola Jokic? And
you said that.
No, bro, you said that. We're gonna run back the tape and see. But it's ironic that Julius Randle had a better game than Jokic, statistically.
No, yeah, I mean, when it comes to stats, I mean, Julius, he did his thing. However, I mean, look at Jokic's plus minus versus Julius Randle. I mean, technically, who really had the good game?
Well, they both had decent games. I was just saying, we both thought Randle would kind of be, a poor man's version of Jokic. So to see him have a similar stat line the very next day after we discussed it or talked about it was kind of interesting.
No, yeah, I mean, even on Julius Randle's shooting percentage, he was shooting 60%.
Yeah, when you look at the rest of the team, including Julius Randle's good shooting performance, the rest of the team shot 43% from the field and under 30% from 3, which is the Achilles heel of the team right now. It's like anytime we shoot below 50%, we're gonna lose, and anytime we lose, we're losing in a fashion where the end of the game is non-competitive. The Knicks haven't
Yeah.
had too many games this season where we're looking at the team in the late fourth quarters and it's actually a competitive game. If it's a competitive game, it's a game where we end up winning. Because if it's close, if it's a nail biter, it seems like we're able to pull through. But
Surprisingly, yeah.
yeah, but when the shots aren't falling, let the viewers know your little saying when it comes to the Knicks and their offense/defense.
When they, normally it's defense leads to offense, but when it comes to the Knicks, offense leads to defense. When we're hitting shots, we play defense, we lock teams up, and we win games. The shots stop dropping, we give up completely. We do not play defense. We have that loser mentality once the shots aren't dropping.
Yeah,
It's rough.
which is unfortunate. You know, you would hope that the Knicks, fight a little bit harder, especially defensively. Like, I understand your shots not falling, but that has nothing or should have no effect on how much energy or intensity you're giving in defensively. And to see the Nuggets drop 114 points on us is, not something as a Knicks fan you really want to see consistently. And also, we can't score more than 90, 95 points in some of these games. I don't understand. Like, the offense is not clicking. And something is not gelling on this team offensively. And some changes have to be made. Look at RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's stats tonight, he had 9 points, 4 of 13 from the field goal line, 0 of 3 from 3, still having issues shooting. Free throw, he was 1 of 3 from free throw. He's given us some rebounds and he did have 4 assists. So he's able to contribute in other areas on the court, but he's still having issues trying to score efficiently.
He's doing rough. Quick shout out to Maurice, was good.
Yo, what's up, little bro?
No, yeah, he's had trouble defensively, both offensively and defensively. But these are the same issues that we were talking about when we were still discussing the Knicks in the preseason, where the only reason why we were winning games was because we was actually playing defense, because we weren't breaching 100 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
So we were keeping the other teams that we were going against under, like they were scoring around us, 96, 97, 98 points. If teams score over 100 easily on us, that's an easy loss for us.
Yep, we don't have the firepower.
We're not a scoring team. We're not. But I'm already getting tired of the fact that Obi Toppin is still injured. Come on, you don't have that much time to develop at all. You're 22. Get it together, get on the court and play. I'm tired of not seeing him. It's just getting boring now.
Yeah, the thing with calf injuries, they're very tricky. Soft tissue injuries and calf injuries, they stick with you throughout the season. So I'm guessing they want to be extra precautious with them to make sure it doesn't flare up and aggravate him, because that's one of those injuries where if you pull your calf, you pull your hamstring, that's something you're going to deal with 2-3 months down the line. It's going to take a while for you to get 100%. But, I agree with you. I do want to see Obi. Julius Randle is kind of being forced to do too much because we don't have anybody to give him some backup minutes at the 4. And, like I said, he needs help. It's crazy that I'm sitting here saying that he needs help when I was the one saying that Julius Randle got to get up out of here. But offensively, if the players are not going to be the ones to give him help, then Tibbs is going to have to start diagramming some plays to get people open. Like when you watch the Knicks, you don't see too many plays that are getting people good quality shots. Sometimes they're getting decent shots, but they're not getting good quality wide open shots as much as the opposing team.
No, absolutely. And another issue that I've noticed in this game, it's the rebounds.
Yeah.
We had almost no second chance points this game, which is why Denver was killing us. Let me see where it is.
Yeah. I mean, rebounding, you would have thought we would have had a better game rebounding with the way Mitch and Nerlens Noel have been playing. Well, not so much Noel, but with Mitch. But Mitch, I don't know what's going on with him. He can't grab rebounds. Like every single rebound slips through his hands. Bad. Defensively, Jokic was killing him.
Absolutely, he can't deal with Jokic.
Yeah, you could see it.
I mean, but that's not his fault.
Yeah, well, that's his man. It's always his fault. How many fouls did he end up having? Did he foul out? No. He's been doing better with fouls, you know. Well, I guess he didn't have any fouls because he wasn't doing a great job defending Jokic.
No, he wasn't. But you know who was doing it
even? Noel. Mm-hmm.
I was watching, and you know what? Literally, he was doing as good as anyone can do against a center like Jokic. Like he was drawing offensive fouls and things, and he was clearly getting Jokic frustrated. Like you can notice that in the first half at least. However, when they took Mitch out and subbed in Nerlens, that's when Jokic was demanding the ball. He was asking anyone, "Oh, give me the ball." And
maybe in the post.
Anytime Nerlens guarded him up, he either got to the free throw line or he scored. It was rough. I'm just like, Nerlens, like about defense. The answer is no. And I feel
there's
like
a big drop off.
Plus minus because Nerlens Noel is a minus. His plus minus is -21, whereas Mitchell's is -7. He was playing a lot more he was playing better against Jokic than Nerlens for sure.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to Mitch and Nerlens Noel, you can see a big drop off when Noel comes in to replace him. Like Mitchell Robinson, you know, he has some lapses and he has some errors on the defensive side of the ball. But when it comes to him actually being a difference maker on the defensive side, you can see there's a difference between, you know, it's night and day between Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel. That is, you know, easily apparent to me. So let's get into Elfrid Payton too, because Elfrid Payton is somebody.
Quick shout out to Rondo Glow and Quiet Money.
Shout out to you guys. Let me check the chat. Shout out Rondo Glow. Shout out Quiet Money. Salute. Quiet Money, I talk to a lot when I'm in the Nick at Nights podcast. I'm going to be there again tonight. I'm going to be in the chat. And if Freezy wants me to come on as a panelist, I'll be there as well. So you can check that out after this. That comes on at 11:45. So when it comes to Elfrid Payton, you know, a lot of people say he should be starting because Tibbs is going to be more comfortable with him. But I'm not liking Payton as the lead guard. You know, I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest with you.
I mean, at this point, with the way that Quickley's been playing for these last two games, what other choice do we have?
Why you got to bring Quickley up? Disregard. We're talking about Payton.
No, simply because if Payton isn't the starter, what other guard do we have? We either have Quickley or Rivers, more of a shooting guard.
Yeah, you think Rivers is more of a two?
Quickley is more of a point guard.
I think, to be honest, with the both of them, they're both more, you know, combo guards in the body of point guards. But I think Rivers has shown the ability to facilitate when he gets into the paint. Quickley's having some rookie struggles right now. You know, hopefully he gets it together. But, you know, I'm still a fan of those two. But to be honest, this would not be the best game for me to make that argument when it comes to one of those two replacing Payton. So I'm going to just say Payton needs to be replaced. And whoever you want to fill in for him, you know, feel free. The same thing with Reggie Bullock. I'm not a fan of Bullock. You know, he wasn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
He wasn't terrible when it comes to his numbers. But I think we can get. Once Burke comes back, he better be replacing Bullock in the starting lineup. If you're gonna have Burke play the three, and or have R.J. Barrett play the three. But Bullock, I think, is not the answer. And didn't you say they were trying to give him the bag this offseason? I mean, or last offseason?
No, it was last offseason. Bullock, we were going to give him 1 year, $20 million until we found out about his injury or something like that. And then we dropped him all the way down to the veteran minimum. But no, I agree. And I do feel as our starter, he's just injured right now.
Injured, yep.
But every game of the preseason and every game that he's been available, he has been starting over Bullock. And then Quiet Money said we need a lineup change, which absolutely that is a Snapple
fact.
We need a team that actually gels together to start the game off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The way that they run the offense, you know, I don't want to give a lot of bad talking or talk down to the starting lineup, because the starting lineup did better than the second unit. The second unit is the team that really let the game get out of hand. But our offense is just stagnant to come out the game. Like when you look at other teams and the way they play and the way they move the ball and the way they get open shots, it looks nothing compared to what the Knicks are doing out there. Even when we're getting shots at the basket, it's like they're contested shots. You know, they're decent shots. Yep. We're not getting wide open layups. We're not getting wide open 3-point shots. And if we are getting those wide open shots, they're coming from players that you don't really want to shoot. And that's why they're getting those wide open looks. So the Knicks have to do something. Like when I was on the Knicks at Night podcast, they were saying Tibbs has said that they haven't really gotten the time to work on much offensively. They're focusing on the defense. Well, the team has looked good defensively. I think it's now time to kind of switch the focus to the offense. We have a bunch of players that still need to be developed on the offensive side of the ball. It doesn't matter how good they get defensively. We aren't going to beat teams until we're able to score more points. So yes, defense is a large part of keeping their scoring down, but we also have to find ways to get our scoring up. And I think Tibbs has not invested enough time with these players in order to make that a legit possibility.
Yeah, Tibbs needs to watch this video. He needs to understand that with this next team, unless they are scoring, they will not play defense. He needs to understand that. And we got some comments from Quiet Money. He hasn't been a Knox fan. Same.
Stop lying. You're a Knox fan.
In the starting lineup, instead of Bullock.
Say that one more time. Run that back. You said it's
Quiet Money wants Knox in the starting lineup instead of Bullock.
See,
I'm not a fan of that. I'm a huge Kevin Knox. But
you lying, bro. You like Knox. You just don't like what he's doing with his talent.
I hate yeah, exactly. No, I feel like he's a talented player. I just feel like he's terrible. Like, I mean, he is, simply because why is he averaging 5 points a game? You know how many points he dropped today? 6. Like, he's doing nothing when he's out on the floor. He's turning the ball over. He's getting more turnovers than points. Like, it's rough. It's hard to be a fan of him. And you know how talented he is.
Yeah.
He's just dirt. Like, it makes no sense.
There's a lot that Kevin Knox can do. It's just we don't see him do it in game. And I think that's the most difficult part about being a Knicks fan. You see a lot of these players that give you flashes and give you moments. And then it's like, how do we recreate that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the formula to recreate that performance? Like when RJ Barrett goes out there and shoots 4 for 5 from 3, what is the formula that he went through that day in order to get that level of performance? Like, the team is way too inconsistent. Like, day in and day out, I don't know what I'm going to come on here and say. Because I don't know if the team's going to come out here and look good and look respectable, or if the team's going to come out and, they're going to throw the game away like they did today when, not having enough energy in the second half. The second unit, I don't know. Like, the second unit was the team I was my biggest fan of. I was like a real big fan of the second unit. Then they came out tonight, and it's like, do any of y'all really want to get into the starting rotation? Because y'all not going to do it like this. Not going to do it like this.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why one, I don't feel that Knox should be in the starting lineup. I feel like he hasn't done enough to prove it. And I feel like putting him in the starting hindered the team, because then you got other players looking at Knox, looking at every game he's played this season, like how is he a starter? I wanted to ask you though, because in our last call you mentioned that you wanted to see Quickley and Austin Rivers on the court together.
Well, this is the bad game.
That was a big part of the.
This is not the game to be asking me that question, bro. Well, yeah, they disappointed me. I wanted to see a lot more from them, but I'll be an apologist just a little bit for a rookie. The way Tibbs is being inconsistent with the minutes, I can understand how Quickley is having problems finding a groove, finding his spot in the offense, finding his flow in the offense. Because you saw, I forgot what, it might have been in the second quarter, he took a shot that I don't think Tibbs was a fan of, and Tibbs called timeout, pulled him to the side, and he was like, yo, bro, what is you out there doing? Don't do that again, because if you do that again, you're going to be on the bench. And you can see, Quickley played a little bit tentative after that. He missed a wide open 3 from deep. I don't know. It's just the way the team is operating right now, nobody's getting really good looks. And I don't know.
Yeah, they're not setting any plays.
They're not setting any plays for him. They're not setting plays for anybody outside Julius Randle or Alfred Payton. I think everything else outside of that is just people freestyling and doing their own thing and playing within the offense. And because there's not enough chemistry on this team yet, because this team has not focused enough on the offense, you're seeing it out there. Everything is stagnant. Everything is predictable. The defense knows who's going to get the ball in what spot, and they're able to rotate and stop a lot of these plays.
We got another quote from Quiet Money. I'm not sure how you're going to feel about this one, but he said, Got to put Knox in catch and shoot situations. Trying to drawing double teams, we need more shooters. That's his thought process.
I wouldn't disagree with him when it comes to that. I just don't know if Kevin Knox is that shooter. Like, out of nowhere, Kevin Knox turned out. Go ahead.
I feel like if RJ going to the bench, I feel like.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. He said RJ to the bench?
Yeah, he said RJ and Bullock to the bench.
I heard Bullock to the bench.
I don't think RJ should go to the bench because he's been one of the more consistent scorers for a team. Yeah, he's not hitting his three, but he's dropping at least 20 points.
I wouldn't call him. But he's been dropping out those buckets inefficiently. That's the problem with RJ. And I don't.
No, only one game was inefficiently. After that, he's been close to like 50% from the field.
I don't think so. I think there's a couple. This game, he was terrible, efficiency wise.
Everybody.
Last game, he wasn't great with his efficiency, and then maybe like the first 3, 4, and the fifth. I don't remember exactly which games, but he had like a stretch of games where he was just shooting terrible. I think it was like the second, third, and the fourth game of the season. He was just shooting an abysmal field goal percentage. So I don't know if I would send RJ to the bench because I think in New York there's certain things you got to stray away from, especially when it comes to these players' psyches. As a high first round draft pick, to see him get put to the bench when you got Zion, Ja out here. Well, Ja is hurt, but you got them killing for their teams in a starting lineup. They in a different league, but you're going to have to remember how the media is going to start bashing RJ if we just send him to the bench. So I would rather move RJ maybe to the 3 or bring Burks in at the 3 and then put a shooter at point guard. That way you're still getting the effects of shooters in the lineup, but you're not sacrificing RJ being a legitimate starter. Because I think once you take RJ out of the starting lineup, it's a slippery slope, and you don't want it to go downhill from there. And we have a history of not re-signing our draft pick, so I don't want to fracture that relationship with RJ. Like, I don't think RJ's doing enough to the point where he should lose his starting spot. There's nobody else that has earned it from him or taken it from him. You feel me?
No, yeah. Quiet Money agrees with you when it comes to RJ's numbers. He's like, his numbers is just far too low. So I guess an ideal starting lineup would be someone like Austin Rivers, Alec Burks, RJ at the 3, Julius, and I guess Mitch.
Yeah.
That would give him, 2 shooters?
That would give him 2 shooters. And I think, let me pull up Burks' stats, because Burks has also played some minutes at point guard. I can give you the exact percentages of what time he's been playing at point guard. But if you have Austin Rivers, the only thing is with Austin Rivers, he's not really a great primary.
Quiet Money would rather move him up.
Ooh, which one?
RJ.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild. That's wild. We invested too much in him to just throw him away for nothing. If we're going to get him off the team, we got to get something. But I don't think I'm at that point where I want to move off from RJ. Like, Quiet Money, real talk, I think the problem with RJ is, I've said it in previous videos, RJ is a shooting guard from a different era trying to win now. And the problem is, because he's from a different era, an era where you didn't necessarily have to have the greatest outside shot, you could just play bully ball, get to the paint, and knock down your free throw shots. I think the problem with RJ playing that style of basketball is we're going to have to build around him a little bit differently. We're going to have to build around him with a bunch of shooters and people that are going to help him, create space for him on the court. Because RJ's not athletic enough to get separation. So most of his shots are going to have somebody in the vicinity to contest. So RJ, I don't know. We keep getting players on this team where they have to have specific players around them in order to succeed. You know what I mean? If we don't have 20 players that we bring in and you put them with anybody and they're good to go.
Build around them for like a year or two, and then we get rid of them. And it is the team that we currently support for some reason. Yeah. Why we are still Knicks fans, I have no clue.
Because we love our team. I love my squad. You already know. But guess what we had a sighting of, though? Guess who played? He touched the court, bro. I was looking. I'm like, I had to go like this. I ain't have my glasses on. I'm like, wait, is that Dennis Smith Jr.? I'm like, I thought he was hurt. What's going on?
No, I told you he wasn't hurt.
You did say that, yeah.
So, you know, you get
Yo, he not hurt. He just dirt.
He touched the court. He had 4 points, steals.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to take Quickley spot now. He's trying to reclaim. What you call it? There's a dude on.
He's like,
go ahead.
I need those 5 minutes a game.
There's this.
Slow for him. He's gonna be out the league by next season.
Yeah, he might be out the season. He might be out the league this
contract
season.
Year, ain't it?
Yeah, this is his contract year. Him and Frank Nitty. So the fact that they're both getting injured in a season where they have to be playing to really earn their money kind of sucks for them. Sucks for us because we could have used. How much did Jamal Murray go off for? Jamal Murray was quiet, so it's pretty much just Jokic. All right, we didn't really need perimeter defenders like that, but Jokic was killing us, setting people up with passes. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a beast. Jokic is just a once in a lifetime talent. They are lucky to have him.
Yeah, and we're trying to turn Randall into our Jokic, but there's just certain things on the court that Jokic could do that Randall can't really do.
No, yeah. Quiet Money's like, look at RJ season averages real quick, and he got the vomit emoji.
What are his pull up? Can you pull up his career? Or not career, but his season averages, if possible. Right now, I'm looking at Alec Burks to let you guys know what percentage of the time he played at point guard. So he's played 24% of the. I was about to say snaps, like this is football. He's played 24% of his minutes at point guard. So there is an ability to bring Alec Burks, have Austin Rivers, and have them share backcourt or share some playmaking responsibilities, and that'll help free up RJ. So his shooting percentages won't be as terrible. Because once RJ is able to get some easy looks, he can make them. It's these contested shots that he's having trouble, finishing at the rim.
And yet they keep on giving him the ball with like 5 seconds left on the shot clock. He's gone to take a bad shot, and I got his averages here. So just for this season alone, I mean, he's averaging 17.3 points a game, which is decent. Total rebounds 7, which is also up from his career.
He's averaging 7 rebounds a game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 7.2. And then assists 3.2, which is also up from his career. His field goal percentage is rough. It's 38%. 21% from 3, 71% from field goal.
71, I'd rather have him up closer to 80. But yeah, 38% from field goal and 21% from 3 is rough.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do. Because once RJ is efficient, like RJ could be a monster out there if he could just pick his spots better and be able to complete. Oh, fumble. Man down.
Had to plug my phone to the charger.
It's all. I'm like, it's all good, bro. But yeah, once RJ is able to get some shooters on the court with him, like when I review film and I see how he's able to operate with IQ on the court and with Austin Rivers on the court and get to the paint with a lot more ease, I think things are going to open up for RJ. Right now, with Elfrid Payton on the court, and not only Elfrid, what happened?
That quiet when he was like, he's actually leading the league in minutes per game.
Yeah.
Get him off my team.
Yeah.
No, yeah. As for his minutes, I mean, we covered that in our last video. There's no reason for him to be playing 44
shooting
minutes
like that. Yeah. What did he shoot? What did he play to like? I don't think anybody was over 40 this game. It was like 30 something, right? Yeah. RJ played 33. Mitchell Robinson played 34, and then Julius Randle played 38. Julius Randle can't keep playing these amount of minutes as well. We're going to wear these guys out.
Remember, no, he's been playing like 30 minutes. Remember, his hasn't been...
No, remember, at one point, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, I think, were both top 5 or top 10 in the league in minutes per game. So we're going to wear these dudes out, pause. Like, we have players on this roster that can actually contribute. Tibbs just got to start giving some trust into them. And if Tibbs don't start trusting them, then, they're going to lose faith in themselves. Like, if your coach no longer has trust in you, how are you supposed to go into practice every day and be like, all right, I'm gonna make the plays to get my minutes, even though the coach I know doesn't trust me. Like, nah.
Not. I mean, I would have that same mentality too. I'm like, if I ain't gonna get no minutes, what am I practicing for? Let me just relax, collect my check, call
Wait
it a
till they
day.
ship me out of here.
Let me see. Quiet Money. He's like, how much does RJ's bad shooting hurt the team? And then he was like, as for what happened to Quickley, that he's probably not going as hard because he's not getting the minutes.
Yeah. I think Tibbs is kind of being too hard on Quickley. Like what was it? I think it was the game against the Jazz where he had one bad three and Tibbs yanked him. And I'm like, yo, how are you gonna have a young player gain confidence in himself and actually feel like he has a hold on his position if you're gonna sit there and pull him just because he made took one bad shot? Like, he's a rookie. He's gonna have to learn. You need to give players the ability to make mistakes and then learn off those mistakes. If you're gonna make one mistake in 6 minutes and get pulled off the court, when Tibbs goes and looks at the film to work with you and break down what you did wrong, you're just gonna show him the one thing he did wrong in 6 minutes and then call it a day. All right, next player. Like, let him play. Let him show you that there are other things he can do, that like there are things he could have did right in that game if you would have gave him the opportunity to play. But no, he pulled him. And then ever since he pulled him from that game against Utah Jazz, it's been downhill from there.
Yeah, Quiet Money agrees. He was like, he thinks Tibbs already broke Quickley.
Yeah, well, I won't go as far and say he broke Quickley, but you can see his confidence is waning. Like, you can see his confidence is waning. He's a little hesitant. Like, on that deep three, he was a little hesitant to take it. Even though that's a shot he probably can make, even though we haven't seen him do it at the NBA level.
And with that shot, the shot clock was at 3. Like,
he
has to take that shot.
Yeah, I don't understand what Tibbs is doing with the young players, and that's why I really wasn't a fan of Tibbs coming in here. I really wanted, Kenny Atkinson, a player that we were able to see work in New York, in Brooklyn, and develop some young players, and you're seeing the fruits of his labor now. I won't say Dinwiddie was kind of young, so yeah, we'll say he worked with Dinwiddie. You see that in Levert. You see that in D'Angelo Russell. So, like, these are guards that Atkinson worked with and was able to get the most out of them. So if we would have,
and now they don't got him, and they look dirt. We lost to Thunder. They also lost to the Thunder today after leading them by almost 10.5. We got a comment from Raphael Burgess.
Raphael was good.
He's like, what's your opinion of the lineup Tibbs has been putting out?
The starting lineup, Reggie Bullock got to go. They need to replace Reggie Bullock out of that starting lineup, number one. I don't think he gives us anything offensively, and he doesn't give us nearly enough defensively to really warrant that starting spot. Also, at some point, Elfrid Payton's going to have to get replaced as well. It's hard for me to make an argument as to who should replace him, because over the last 2 games, Austin Rivers and Immanuel Quickley haven't really shown enough to really, have me use their performance as an argument. But if you want to go based on skill set, I think Austin Rivers and Immanuel Quickley both have skill sets that better complement the players around them in that starting lineup, and that would be RJ, Mitch, and Julius Randle. What are you, Inf? What do you think?
I mean, pretty much the same. Our only staples are RJ, Julius, and Mitch. Obviously, we're hoping Alec Burke can come back much sooner, because once Alec Burke is back, I feel like he solidified the spot. He should have starting shooting guard. As for point guard, ideally, I would like Austin Rivers to take that spot officially off the bench right after him. Obviously, this would mean isn't the guard that we need. We need shooters, and now he's second guessing his shot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if he means
he's not allowed to shoot. I think he's not allowed to shoot. Mm-hmm. If that, give him 10. Hide him on defense. Use your 6 fouls, foul their worst free throw shooter, and that is your role on this team. But just to touch on it, a lot of people are saying RJ can't really play the 3. But if you look at his stats, he's played 37% of his minutes at the 3. So I don't understand why some people say RJ can't play as a small forward. RJ has shown in this when he's on there with the second unit, on the court with the second unit, he's flourished as a small ball 3. He's 6'7". He's not much smaller than a lot of the other power small forwards when it comes to height. You know, he might give up a little bit when it comes to weight, but if he's giving up that size and weight, then he should have it in quickness, even though he's not the quickest player on the court. So I think we should see what RJ can contribute as a 3 before we just decide to write him off and not adjust the starting lineup.
Guard, he shouldn't be the one standing at 3 waiting for, player. Quiet Money probably agrees with that. He's like, why is RJ allowed?
Yeah, he has open license to shoot whenever, wherever.
Yeah, that's out of control.
And he didn't earn that.
That's not him.
He didn't earn that.
He doesn't have that talent.
The thing is, what I don't want RJ to do is to not shoot because he's open, but he's taking some shots where he's not necessarily, it's not the best look for the offense. Because if RJ just decides to stop shooting, it's going to slow things down for our offense. He still has to be aggressive. He just has to be aggressive and take the right shots.
Yeah.
And that's the gray line.
Say that again?
And that's the gray line we have to try to, walk across.
Yeah, he just needs to take better shots. If he has the green light to shoot, take smart shots. Tibbs needs to have that same energy with him. You took a stupid shot, sit down. We got a comment from Peso Carta. He says, we need to try RJ at the point. What's the worst that can happen? Might find his feel for the game better at the point. Well, I mean, he averages 3 assists a game, and he usually always has the ball in his hand because he has the green light. If it's not in Julius Randle's hand, it's in his hand. And so to only have 3 assists a game, I feel like that's not enough for me to trust him as a point guard. That means, to me at least, that he doesn't have the proper court vision to know when somebody's open or not. Because this also goes back to the shots that he's taking. He's taking poor shots when there's somebody open. So I don't know how I would feel. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, he's got pretty much tunnel vision whenever he penetrates, and I think that's why he doesn't have as high of a assist total, because he's able to get into the lane, and like you said, he collapses the defense, and there are people open. But once he makes that decision that he's going to shoot, he's going to shoot, and you can see it. Like I'm watching the game, and I'm like, all right, RJ, you in the paint. Is somebody open to the left and to the right of you? Are you going to pass it or are you going to shoot? Oh, double covered? Shoot. I'm like, all right, this guy's watching too much Julius Randle film. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, bro, you set tripping. There's people open. Like, come on. I'm like, he has the ability. He has the talent to find open players, and he operates at a slow pace, something that Tibbs likes. So he could be a secondary playmaker and initiating the offense, but he just doesn't look for people around him. And that's, I think, a problem. That's something that he's going to have to work on. I think Johnny Bryant, we have him on staff. He's worked with Donovan Mitchell. He's the associate head coach, and I'm not seeing the level of development from these guards that we should be seeing when you were this magical Johnny Bryant that saved Donovan Mitchell, and we heard all these good things coming into the season. All right, so where's the results? You're not going to tell me Johnny Bryant came in here to teach defense. There's no way. I'm not looking at Donovan Mitchell as a A1 defender. So if he's not an A1 defender and we credit Johnny Bryant for what he did with him offensively, why are we not seeing the same results with any of these guards on the roster?
We just might not have the talent. Shout out to Cody McDowell. We appreciate you too.
Shout out, Cody.
Money says, I always say RJ needs to model his game after Ben Simmons. He's not effective. But like we said, he don't got the court vision that Ben Simmons got, or the passing ability.
Simmons, and Ben is a little bit bigger too. I think Ben is a little stocky. Ben built like a power forward.
Small forward.
Yeah, we built like a power forward. What, he's like 6'8"? Well, I guess he's built like a tweener. We'll call him a tweener.
Let's see. Paiso said RJ be getting his J.R. Smith on. Yes, he do. Like, some of
Facts.
the shots he takes.
Facts. I'm like,
For
yo,
what?
who is this guy? I'm like, yo, you ain't got a license to shoot whenever. I'm like, yo, Tibbs, yank him real quick. Sit him down. Let him know, bro, you set tripping. No, you got to relax.
Seriously.
You got to relax.
And then Raphael says RJ needs to study Jimmy Butler's game.
Yes.
Work more in the post, mid-range, and work on getting to the foul line.
And
Absolutely.
And I think the issue is Tibbs is not putting these players in the right position offensively. Like, Tibbs pulled up here and it's like he's Adam Gase, but just on defense. He's just worried about the defense. The defense is going to be A-okay. Offensively, we're going to figure it out. Adam Gase on the Jets, yeah, offense, I'm going to work on the offense, and then whoever's the defensive coordinator, he'll worry about them and those players. Tibbs is not doing anything for this offense. Like, you see some of the triangle principles and some of the sets they run, but outside of that, we're not seeing the level of production on the offensive side that I want to see. And we brought in Kenny Payne to work with Kevin Knox. I'm not seeing nothing from Kevin Knox.
We're seeing 6 points a game.
6 points a game. Like, how much are we paying these coaches? I'm not seeing I'm not going to argue and say that the Knicks aren't well coached on the defensive side of the ball, and they're not. Then I won't even say they're super well coached when it comes to. They're still turning the ball over at a high clip. They didn't turn it over that bad. What did they have this game? No, they had 16 turnovers. They still turning the ball over at a high clip. So people keep saying coaching is A1 and this team is well coached. Yes, in certain situations, in certain scenarios, the team is well coached. But to be honest, when it comes to development, I'm not seeing where that coaching is actually coming into effect.
That's because it's not. But I mean, because it's not. We're not showing any real improvement. Yeah, we have overperformed a bit, being that we are still at 500.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. Shout out to them for that.
I think it would be beneficial for RJ himself to like study Jimmy Butler's game, being that he can't shoot and neither can Jimmy really, unless it's a clutch moment. But that's purely on RJ. RJ needs to start developing an actual post game. Because he's usually much bigger and stronger than the guards who are guarding him anyway. So that's something that can actually work.
Especially if we're going to play him at the 2 and not move him to the 3.
Yeah.
He's usually bigger than most guards out there.
That Maple Mamba nickname.
Yeah, who the hell gave him? That's disrespectful, yo. As a Kobe fan, watching RJ, Maple Mamba, come on, bro. Ain't no Maple Mamba. Like, I'm like, yo, when they said that, I was hype. I'm like, okay, Maple Mamba. Kobe not the greatest three-point shooter, but Kobe was still deadly from 3. Kobe was pulling from Steph Curry range before, well, let me not exaggerate. Kobe was pulling from close to Steph Curry range before Steph. So you're not about to sit here and tell me that this dude RJ is the Maple Mamba, he can't shoot. How, Sway? How is he the Maple Mamba if he can't shoot? It don't add up.
We got a lot of conversation going on in the chat. Quiet Money says, so y'all telling me that RJ likes talent.
Oh, Clutch pulled up. What's good, Clutch? Clutch is the homie. Clutch got some good content on YouTube, so check him out. Clutch B-Ball TV. That's the homie. What were you saying now, Inf?
Peso's like, he's like, nah, he don't like talent. He just be doing head times. And yeah, you said Clutch B-Ball TV. Mitch Robinson is the only guy we have seen improvements from in consistency.
Facts.
I agree with that.
That's a Snapple fact. He's not fouling. That's a big improvement right there.
Exactly. Improvement. Because that's been the main worry from the moment that the season started. We've seen him getting better with that. He's not jumping. He's just keeping his hands up. He's not really going for fakes. That's improvement. Yeah,
that's a Snapple fact. That's the only person, like he said, the only person we've seen consistent improvement. Like, you'll see some improvements, from one game to the next, but they don't carry any of the positives we've seen in the game to the next game. Like, for example, RJ will have one game against the Pacers where he can actually shoot. And then every game after that, it's just like, all right, we're not playing the Pacers. So I'm going to revert to the norm. Well, Julius Randle has been consistent too. Let me give him his flowers.
No, yeah, he has. He hasn't deserved all the slack that we give him.
Nah, based on his play last year, yes, he did. He don't deserve it this year. That's why I haven't been, violating him this year. He's been doing this thing this year, but last season he deserved every bit of it.
I mean, last year he
Bro,
was awful.
his
But then
nickname on Basketball Reference is Beyblade because he kept doing that dumb. I'm about to curse. I mean, he kept doing that dumb spin move. Nah, bro. He deserved it last year. Like, how is your nickname Beyblade? First of all, pause. Second of all, that's a wild nickname to be calling yourself Beyblade. That's crazy. That's crazy.
You gotta be dirt to be named Beyblade. Like, that means you predictable. They know your game
Right?
inside and out.
Bro, when I seen Beyblade, I was like, yo, they still got Beyblade out there. Remember Beyblade was type the joint. I was in middle school when that came out. That was wild. But yeah, Julius Randle deserves it.
Quiet Money says he's over RJ. He thinks we need a blockbuster trade. We'll get over it when we start winning games, and he's still struggling.
So Quiet Money, you saying we need a blockbuster trade? Who would you trade for? And Inf, same question to you. Who would you trade for if you were to do a blockbuster trade?
A blockbuster trade for RJ. Let's see.
What doesn't have to be for RJ. It could be. It could be anybody on the roster. Be creative. I mean, me, if I were gonna make a blockbuster trade, it would have to be for somebody that's a shooter, whether that be a Devin Booker type player. I mean, at the Knicks and Night podcast, I forgot who it was. Somebody had brought up D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if I would want D'Angelo Russell though, and I don't know if that's a block. I don't know if he's good enough for that to be considered a blockbuster. Might have been a blockbuster 2 years ago. See, the thing is, when you have Tibbs. To be honest, I think this whole thing kind of goes haywire from the Tibbs hire. Because when you hire Tibbs, now everybody else you got to bring in has to fit with Tibbs's narrow view. Like, there's coaches that have philosophies where they're willing to adjust based on their players. So now when you have Tibbs, every single player that you have to bring in has to quote unquote work for his system or whatever he's running. And to me, it handcuffs you as to what moves you can make in order to better the team. So when it comes to a blockbuster trade, a D'Angelo Russell trade, I don't think defensively they're gonna really mesh with Tibbs. You know what I mean?
But I don't know. I mean, defensively though, Tibbs has been making players who don't normally play defense play some sort of defense.
Yeah, but D'Angelo Russell is just lazy and he don't pay attention.
The chat is saying Bradley Beal. We got Bradley Beal from Quiet Money. My issue with Bradley Beal though is that he hasn't done nothing. Like he scores, but I mean he hasn't, like, you're dropping 50 points a game and your team is always at the bottom of the East.
Yeah, because they ain't got no help. And look, they went and brought in Brickbrook. I would have, the minute they traded for Brickbrook, I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. Trade me. But yeah, I would like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is a killer. And I even made a trade for Bradley Beal, so you already know I'm for it. But I don't think that's realistic. Like, I don't think we got anything for the Wizards.
If we trade for Bradley Beal, we're gonna have to trade. Like, it's gonna take 2 blockbuster trades. Like, we're gonna need another big player to play with Beal. In my opinion, obviously, Beal isn't the kind of player where he's our main player and then we can just build around him with pieces. I don't view him like that.
You think he's a Robin?
Yeah. He's
Robin that's paid to be Batman.
He's a Robin, and we need Batman. And we see, let's see, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, I mean, I'm always cautious when it comes to injury-prone players, and he is one of those players who is injury-prone. If he's healthy, though, definitely. Like, I would take a Zach LaVine. He could shoot. He could obviously.
I don't like Zach LaVine too much.
You're not a fan?
No, he's not that great of a shooter, first of all, and he's athletic. He's a decent shooter, but he's not the level of a shooter that I would be worried about. Like, I'm not going game plan about Zach LaVine not shooting threes. If Zach LaVine wants to stand out there and shoot threes all day, that's going to be a win for me. I don't want him to get to the paint and get to the line. So if he wants to shoot threes all day, let him go. Bradley Beal, I don't want Bradley Beal shooting threes like that. Bradley Beal, I know is a gunner. Zach LaVine, you're gonna have to prove it to me. Go take 6, 7 threes, and if you make 5 of them and then we lose, I'll tip my do-rag to you. But other than that, and Zach LaVine, he's injury prone too. I won't say injury prone, but he has a major injury history.
Yeah, he does. And Peso said that Zach LaVine would cost too much, which I ain't paying too much for nobody, especially Yeah, I'm not.
Exactly.
And then Clutch Basketball TV said we were one pick away from John Morant. Trust me, that keeps me up at night. I hate the fact that they played us like that.
They did us dirty. There were 2 no-brainers in the draft, and they gave us pick number 3. Bro, I felt the same way though, because I was in my fantasy and they gave me pick number 4, and I was tight. I was like, what? I was like, damn, they did me dirty.
It's rough. I mean, because even Zion, which I don't know why, like you don't hear that much about Zion, but if you look at the stats, he's killing every single game consistently, like. And
it's effortless. Like, remember that day? Remember that time we went to the Garden and we saw Brickbrook kill?
Yeah.
And it was just effortless. You looked up and it was like, damn, he got what? This is the same thing with Zion. Like I'm like, I got Brandon Ingram on my fantasy team, so I pay attention to the Pelicans, and I got Lonzo. So I'm looking at by the way, LaMelo got a triple-double on Lonzo's head. I got LaMelo too. I was lit. I was like, yeah.
He made NBA history on his
facts. Oh, see, but now I done lost. What was I talking about? I keep digressing.
Zion and how effortlessly he scores.
Effortlessly. And we don't have any player on our team in some time that can just fill the stat sheet effortlessly, and it also impacts winning. We haven't had that in a minute. You could say Melo, but I don't really like Melo.
I know, but we had Melo. Well, KP, I mean,
KP wasn't. It was somewhat effortless, but you used to get nervous when they used to put up buckets because he's brittle.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I'm glad we moved on from him because he's still not even playing for Dallas right now.
Bones.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's playing this
season.
He's not. I think he's still injured.
I think he's out to like February or something crazy. And I hope he don't come back anytime soon because the least amount of games he plays is the higher draft pick we finna have.
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah, imagine we got 2 lottery picks. Before the chat kill me.
No, it'd probably be like 7 and 8.
Yeah, they'll probably do us dirty like that. I don't want the chat to kill me. I don't want us to lose, but I would not be upset if we had 2 decent lottery picks to kind of bring in the talent that this team needs. This team has talent, but we don't have talent. We don't have that alpha. We got RJ and Julius Randle masquerading as alphas, but they don't have the cachet on the court that we need in order to get over that hump and be legitimate playoff contenders, because it's baby steps. Right now, we are competitive. We're a competitive team, and that's the first step. The next step is going to be legit playoff contenders, and from there, it's going to be championship contenders. So I don't think right now we have anybody on this roster that makes us a legit playoff contender. We can get to the playoffs, but I don't think we're sitting there and like a 6 or a 5 seed. If we're able to get a player or 2 in the 2021 draft that can kind of propel us to that level, then, at that point, we can start doing some of the other moves, whether that's bring in free agents, bring in trades to kind of get us over that hump. Because right now, I don't think we can build around RJ and be bona fide playoff contenders. Not with the way he's performing right now.
Yeah, we don't have a single player that we can view right now and say, all right, this is who we're building around. This is we don't have that.
Yeah, they haven't showed enough yet.
It's annoying that we don't have that because I feel like every team has that except us.
Then the teams that don't have it are terrible.
I mean, what team doesn't have it though? Like,
not that many.
Exactly.
Let's go through it. The Cavs. Who the Cavs? The Cavs don't really got anybody. They got Tristan Thompson. No, Tristan Thompson's on the Celtics now. They got Kevin Love. Kevin Love hurt.
No, they have Kevin Love. They have
Garland.
The center? What's his name?
Drummond. But Drummond, you're not building around Drummond.
But they also have Colin Sexton and Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Sexland.
Yo, why did he come to the media with that name? How dare he? Who told him it was okay to be saying that to the media?
Yeah.
Like that's something that shouldn't have left the locker room.
But they got them who can actually who can do something, who can score and stuff. But
yeah, I don't know if you build around Sexton and Garland. They started off the season hot, but just like our young players, they're just too inconsistent.
Yeah.
As a Knicks fan, I'm just deprived of consistency. There's no consistency on the Knicks. We haven't had a consistent presence.
Julius Randle, but you hate him.
Yeah, but he don't lead to wins consistently, so it's still not consistent. And even him, he disappeared some of the first halves. Like what game was it? The last game against not against the Jazz. Who did we lose against just now? We lost to the Thunder today.
The Thunder.
And then who did we lose against 2 days ago? I can't remember.
No, Thunder. We lost.
No, we lost to Thunder today, but we also lost another game 2 days ago.
No, we lost to Denver today.
Oh, I'm losing my mind. You're right.
I know you
are. Yeah. So the game against the Thunder, we really weren't that great. Well, he wasn't that great in the first half, but you know, the team around him was able to keep it a little bit more competitive, and then toward the end of the game, the Thunder pulled away. So Julius Randle hasn't been consistent as well. You know, he's been the most consistent, but when you're talking about the Knicks, that ain't really saying much.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're big.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Raphael was like, I think we need a scorer that can carry the load and shot create. Our offense is stale right now. Absolutely.
We have Rivers though, but Rivers can create.
Basketball was like, we wouldn't be having this discussion if we at least got Morant with a sad face.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, true. And then IQ could be
the lottery is a scam.
Facts. Yeah. That's a Snapple fact.
Basketball. He wants Jalen Suggs.
Suggs.
Let me see. Peso said that he has Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, and Melo on his fantasy too.
Oh, he lit. So that he knows. Well, Ingram has a good season so far, but he hasn't been as good as last season. He was killing last season. Melo been pretty good too.
Raphael said, yeah, Suggs or Cade would change our franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Payne, Clutch Basketball said Kenny Payne better not make us draft Brandon Boston just because he's from Kentucky shooting 13% from three.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to Kentucky. I know they've been having a bad season so far. Them and Duke.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of bad. Peso said preying on Dallas's downfall for our draft pick.
Facts.
Clutch Basketball, I'm right there with you. Playoffs is cool, but we need a top pick, specifically a point guard. I'm not going into next season with Peyton starting.
Peyton won't be here next year. Absolutely. Peyton won't be here next year, and Scott Perry won't be here next year. And I'm hoping, you know, let me not. I want to say it, but they're gonna kill me. I'm hoping Julius Randle not here next year either. He gotta go. You know, he's playing good. Let's get the most we can for him. I don't understand why I won't keep him. Like, he's playing good. Shout out to him. Get as much as you can for him, and you know, build around with whatever you get from him. Like, if you get additional picks, if you get additional young players, especially if they're shooters, and they're making life easier for RJ, because clearly RJ and Julius Randle do not mesh. It's like water and oil on the court. At times they gel, but for the most part, they don't like each other. You know, well, let me not say that. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know if they like each other, but there was one moment in the game, not this game, like 3 or 4 games ago, where Julius Randle traveled and RJ Barrett looked at the ref and said like this. I'm like, bro, you gonna snitch on your own teammate like that? I'm like, get out of here.
Not yet. I mean, because they're the same player. They take up the same space. They want the same shots. So, yeah, it doesn't work for them.
At all.
Let's see. Again, a lot of thumbs down. 20 a game. He's definitely a building block.
He's a building block, but is he who you build around? Is he a piece? Because a building block is a piece of the process. So now, is he the building block or is he a building block? Because I don't think he's the building block. I don't think Sexton is carrying you anywhere. He's going to be a nice 1B, 1C, you know, if you're lucky.
Clutch Basketball said Thunder beat Nets with Kevin Durant today, which we covered. Like, good. So it makes me feel a lot less bad about us losing to the Thunder. If
Durant came back? He ain't got the Rona?
Huh?
Durant? Yeah. I thought he had the Rona. He came back already?
Yeah. 4 games or something like that. Or 4 days. 4 days. Yeah.
So he has short-term Rona? How'd that work?
I don't know. I guess they was like, no, we need him to come back because we have the 500. And they still on the 500. And he dropped like 36 today, too. It's not like he had a bad game.
Did Kyrie play, or is Kyrie still having a temper tantrum?
Kyrie, I don't know. I ain't going to pull up the Nets stats. I ain't going to say he played, but I don't know. I hope he set out the season. Let them miss the playoffs. I don't care. Let's see. So now Thunder have a new coach and star. Why is it okay to make excuses for Thibs? I mean,
What
because
excuse are we making?
and then somebody was like, "What Star Thunder got?"
They
I
got
mean, they got
SGA.
Shy.
They got
Shy.
Horford, even though they don't got legit stars.
Horford's dirt.
Yeah, Horford is dirt. I ain't gonna lie. The only reason they took on that contract is because I'm pretty sure they got a bunch of picks. Because there's no way you bring on Al. Because Alfred got what? Horford got what? 3 more years on his deal, including this one.
Yeah, didn't Philly just sign him last year?
Yeah, last year was his first year on the team, so he got 3 more years at a stupid contract. Yo, what's up with all these former Celtics getting the bag? Money. Like every former Celtics get the bag. Al Horford got the bag. Gordon Hayward got a bum ankle and got the bag. How?
And he ain't playing right now.
He killed the last couple games.
May 4th has
May
been
4th.
bashing Mitch this entire time. Just so
May 4th bashes Mitch. May 4th was the same subscriber or viewer that I said saying that we could outscore the Denver Nuggets. And I'm like, there's no way we're outscoring the Denver Nuggets. We're going to have to shut them down defensively. That's the only way we're going to win. Like, we outscore teams to win, yes, but we don't legitimately outscore teams. We just limit the amount of points they can score, and we just happen to score more. We don't really be out here running and gunning and you know, looking fluid on offense. We just play good defense, and they miss more shots than we do, and that's how we win. But I want to see the offense a little bit more, you know, exciting. Like, you know, we brought in Obi. I know he's not playing, but I was under the impression that we were going to see a much more exciting brand of basketball, something that we haven't seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, because even when Obi was playing those 15 to 18 minutes, like, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't, you know, it was just him missing shots. And I'm just like, I mean, granted, it's because we're the Knicks and our expectations are always high for our rookies for some reason, but it was disappointing. And like I mentioned earlier, like, what sucks is that I don't feel like Obi's that missing piece where, like, all right, you know, we're losing games now, but once Obi gets back, we're gonna be fine. Like, it doesn't feel like that. I feel more like that with Alec Burks. I feel like when Alec Burks is back, we'll probably most likely be winning more games and we're losing. But with Obi, it doesn't feel like that. I haven't gotten that.
Well, the thing is, I think they're trying to try something different with Obi, and they're trying to, like, force a square peg into a circular hole by trying to make him a 3. You know, I'm not sure that they're trying to make him a 3, but if that's what they're trying to do, they are going to damage this kid's career. He's not young enough to you know, experiment with like this. You know, if you drafted him, if you saw him play as a 4 and you drafted him as a 4, let him continue to develop as a 4. Don't try to, you know, squeeze him next to Julius Randle and try to make him a 3 just to get him some playing time. To me, that makes no sense. Obi's physical tools do not make him a good 3, period. If you agree or disagree. Oh, I think I lost Inf. You got me flying solo. See, this is why I can't be on the show by myself. I start doing crazy stuff, start singing. Oh, man, let me see if I can get Inf back. So while I'm doing that, let me see if you guys got any other questions. The Knicks started a point guard right in the face of Shy and drafted. Yeah, that most of our drafts kind of didn't pan out the way we would have liked. There were other players that we should have picked, like even Michael Porter Jr. I think that was the same draft. He was a player we could have drafted and let him sit down for a little bit just to, you know, make sure that he is fully healthy when he returns, and we don't have to sit there and worry about bringing him on too early and competing for minutes. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. And the fact that we keep losing these valuable draft picks, to me, is kind of crazy. It's unfortunate. All right, let's see. Go watch his highlights. DSJ can't do no worse than Peyton right now. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't jump straight to DSJ, though. There are other point guards that we could look to bring in. Oh, you popped back up. What's up?
My phone died.
Oh, that's what it was? Yeah. I was on here bombing, bro. I was on here trying to figure out how to get you back and run my mouth at the same time. Multitasking is not for me. All right, glad to have you back. I know you got to get off soon, too, for work, and then I'll probably get off and get ready to jump on the Knicks at Night podcast at Blow Range Tears on YouTube. I'll be there at 11:45. I'll be in the chat. If not, hopefully Freezy will invite me on to be a panelist. So what were we talking about, Inf, before this? What happened? I mean, I'm not going to assume he's going to have me on as a panelist. He got to give me permission. It's not my channel.
True. No, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's see. More comments. Peyton trash. Not Zay said Knox. He feels like Knox is going to start coming along soon.
I hope so.
We all hope. I mean,
and he said RJ needs more spacing. That's the biggest problem with this team. We can't fully evaluate this team until we see these players with proper spacing, because we won't really know what they are, what they could be, until we're seeing them get open looks due to proper floor spacing. So I'm hoping we either bring somebody in that can help with that floor spacing, or if not, then honestly, I'm not sure what we do if we don't bring in players that give us proper floor spacing, because it's not going to change overnight. We're not going to come up with some magical plays that are just going to get people wide open looks. And if we are getting people wide open looks and we don't have any shooters, how are we going to get them to drop their shots? You know what I mean? Like Bullock gets decent looks. He's bricking.
Yeah. I mean, we just need better shooters. That's really it.
Yeah. And, it's not like shooters are everywhere. Well, if you're not the Knicks, shooters are everywhere, because it seems like everybody else got gunners.
Everyone has that one player that you can say, like, all right, he's guaranteed to make at least 3 threes this game.
A Nudie 25, what's good? How you? My fault, Inf. I didn't mean to cut you off.
What do you think? I mean, yeah, you got a couple people, but I'm actually about to, skedaddle.
All right, yeah. So we had a decent live. Guys in the chat, we're gonna start doing this every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Is that correct, Inf? Just want to confirm with you. Yeah, we're gonna be doing this right around this time, between 8 to 9 o'clock. So if you want to, tune in, we'll be here Saturdays and Sundays. All right. Thank you guys for joining us here for this live stream. We had some technical difficulties a little bit earlier, but me and Inf are still new to this, so we're learning. But thank you guys for being patient with us, and thank you for being vocal in the chat. It's greatly appreciated. I appreciate all the feedback. If anything you got to add?
Nah, we'll be here next week.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Gotcha. Hopefully the Knicks get a couple wins this week.
Yeah, so if it's a post Knicks game, we'll be on here to talk about the Knicks, and if not, if it's like a Sunday where there's no game, we'll be able to bring up some creative topics for you guys to discuss with us. And when I figure it out, we'll also invite some of you guys to call or join in via video. So look forward to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to be on the Knicks at Night podcast at 11:45. So I just want to mention that you can check them out at Blorange Tears on YouTube. And with that, I'm just going to wrap it up, because I know Inf is probably like, yo, this dude keep running his mouth and we got to go. All right. So once again, I'm Quis, joined by my co-host Inf.
Knicks Tate.
And we're out.